Hi, this is the Lourdes and Chris Show.
This gorgeousness. I appreciate literally every day everything about my wife. She's phenomenal. She is incredible. She's my best friend. She's my co-host on the show. She's my co-producer on the show. She's my co-director, my co-writer, my co-whatever. The long story short is we're a team. And I'm still taken aback just how gorgeous you are. And as I'm trying to introduce you to the show, I still have to catch my breath and remember I'm live and I'm trying to take care of something here. So this is my gorgeous wife, Lourdes, and I am more excited than a firework going off.
A firework going off.
Can you imagine? Their whole existence is just that one moment of That's how excited I am tonight.
Well, that's good excitement.
Well, I'll tell you what, the thing is that people think that fireworks are just the 4th of July, but you see them all the time on New Year's Eve as well.
That's true. So this is my husband, Chris, who I dearly adore because of his little excitements that he shows all the time. The compliments he gives me. And you know what? It's not just here. He compliments me all the time. And honestly, I really appreciate that because
it's so easy when you're working with such a great material, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, I think after so many years, people kind of just get used to things, and you still do those, like even the little notes he always wrote me. We don't go out as much anymore because we're busy and we do a lot of things. But even with receipts that we have, he just put these little notes in. I think of all those little things that he always has done and continues to do, even after 20 plus years of being together. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate the acknowledgement. So the reason why I'm more excited, what am I, a red firework now? Maybe golden. Maybe gold. It's firework for the New Year. So the reason why I'm just excited is because we've got part 2 with Dr. Grant on. Dr. Grant, as you know, is the Lourdes and Chris Show in-house doctor of the quantum field. And that's why we have him on again and again, because he's so smart and he just makes us smarter every time we have him on.
Well, and he shares such good quality information that actually affects your life. It's a great way.
Yeah, you can use it as a practical tool in your life. That's why we love how he presents it, because we're like, oh, we can absolutely use that.
Yeah.
But if you want to see former episodes of Dr. Grant, you're going to go to thelourdesandchrisshow.com. You're going to check it out. All of his former episodes are on there, as well as Dr. Newsom, Robert Scott Bell, Sherry Calbaum, all of our friends that have given their time to be on the show. It's all there for you to check out, including the ones that can't be on certain networks.
Yeah.
Is all there. So go to thelourdesandchrisshow.com to check out our former content. I don't know. Do we just?
Yeah. And when you go there, browse through there, because there's even stuff that we have purchased ourselves and use on a daily basis because it's the best of highest of quality that we ourselves have experienced and use on a daily basis, and we see it and feel it in our bodies, in our life. We can see that we have more energy. We can see that we feel better. We can see that we actually feel younger. I mean,
absolutely.
So go on there and check out all the products that are on there, because those are the things that we actually use daily.
Yeah, so without further ado, I think we should just get into part 2, because people are like, no, we want to know what to do in the new year.
Yes.
And we want you to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant!
Dr. Grant, we're so
excited. Hello.
Yeah, we're excited to do this part 2.
I guess part 2, right? Yeah. This time we're talking about the new year. So we're like literally just a few days away from the new year.
How to start the new year.
Yeah.
How to really start off with a good run.
Make 2022 the best year of our lives.
2023.
Yes.
You say 2023? 2023.
You said 2023.
Yeah,
So
I love,
to make 2023 the best year.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So I'm Dr. G, and my specialty is the mind, consciousness, and I re-engineer lives. Okay. So that's what I do. And I'm very honored to be here with you too. I love you guys. So we're talking about 2023 now. Japanese, I'm a martial specialist. Before I became a doctor, I'm a martial specialist, and my study of Japanese classical martial art for over something like 50 years. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they have these 2 terms. They're called Zanshin and Shoshin. So Zanshin means an ending, a point in time, and Shoshin means a beginning. So New Year's is the Shoshin. It's a very important Shoshin, the biggest one of the year, because the global community, something like we're at almost, I think, 8 billion now. Mm-hmm. Basically, with some, a couple of exceptions, like in Asia, they start a little later than that. Everybody knows, recognizes, and is celebrating the Christmas, New Year's time. So that is what we call a morphic field. Morphic field is a collective. And because they're all focused in the same time on the same thing, it is like a gigantic force field that you can use to your advantage. Now, if you're stone drunk or on psychedelics, I don't recommend that, okay? Because you're losing everything. Typically for me, now you don't, I know everyone wants to have a big party on New Year's Eve. So what I would do is the day before or immediately the next day, I would do some ceremonial, like prayer, meditation, something to show your gratitude that you're alive. You have people who love you and care about you. You, whatever you have, even if everything's gone south and you're as poor as a church mouse. I lived that way, folks, for over 20. I know that lifestyle. But you have something. You have something. Be real grateful for it. That lifts your vibe. If your vibe is up, the universe is going to support you and bring you more. If your vibe goes down, the universe is going to support you and bring you less. That's all. The universe, the divine, everything only does one thing. All it'll ever say is, okay. That's all it says. You want to be miserable? Okay. You feel you're real poor, you have nothing? Okay. And that is exactly what you'll have. That's why in the last week I was explaining, clean the house, set your surround, because the surround is you. Memorize this mantra. I am that. I am that. If you're real mad, I am that. No judgment to it. Don't misunderstand. That's not a judgment. Forget about judgment. Just know what is. And whatever is, that's you. There actually isn't any separation. So that's another big spiritual story. So you want to start the new year. Now, when you are going all day, every day, you'll do certain little tasks. Always acknowledge when you complete anything. I got that done. If you have something important like New Year's, make sure not just the New Year's Eve and the celebrating the ball drops, but the next day and the day before and everything. Give yourself maybe 7 days from the New Year's Day, 7 days in, and do some kind of ceremonial celebration, acknowledging, reread all of those values that you wrote down before New Year's, read them, review them. Now, when is the best time to do this stuff? Always across the board and across cultures, the best time is before sunrise. In India, they call it the breakthrough. You want to be in breakthrough, not breakdown. If you can hear Jim Rohn will say, I love that guy. I'm really starting to listen to him a lot. I find him, I never listened to him in the earlier years, and I really like this guy. The day belongs to the person who captures the real early morning hours. Yeah. And all you need, give yourself, if you live in one of those, I know American lifestyle, a lot of you have almost no time in the morning at all. You just sort of wake up, have a coffee, listening to the news, which is the first thing you should never, ever do. Or you're looking at Facebook or whatever, you shove that thing down and then you're in the car to get to work. That's a terrible shoshin. It's a worthless, defeating shoshin. The shoshin of the day, whenever, any morning, let alone New Year's, you rise, and that first hour or half hour You got to make that nurture you, center you, energize you. Never look at a phone, ever. Never look at a computer or anything until you finish your morning ceremonial routine. Now, that's especially essential. Let's say the first divine signals me 7 days of the new year. You're ingraining the field, your life, your mind, your body into this new year. And you're hell bent on designing things gradually until they're all aligned with your values. You can't do that overnight, but that's a nice way to set your goals, so you can say by the end of 2023, I'm going to be living a life that's absolutely according to my personal tastes and feeling. And believe me, when I did it, I did that when I arrived in Thailand, because when I got divorced, it's easier because I was alone, and I just designed everything to match my value system. And I'd say now I'm here 7 years. I'm probably 95 to 97%. Everything is by my value system, and I'm a very happy man, folks.
I think that's a great way to start, though. I mean, that makes sense to start the morning, taking 30 minutes to an hour, whichever time you have. What one should literally focus on just being present and, and really owning who they are. I mean, that's great. I'm going to start doing that because I always hurry up to get things done.
It's the same for me. The alarm goes off. I've got to start getting ready for work or whatever I got to.
Yeah, whatever.
Immediately, my thought process goes to what tasks do I have to get accomplished right now.
Yeah, and instead, it should be just taking that moment. I mean, that's so
well.
true.
Let me offer you this. If the time when I just counseled a young lady just before we came on the show. She's in just a horrible situation, and she doesn't know how to organize because there's so many problems with this tragedy. So what you do is this, Chris. When you guys wake up in the morning, just sit up nice and straight so your body is nice and erect. Always, when you want to do something with your mind, straighten your body. That's bottom line, right? Next, all you do is you do heart math. Give yourself 5 minutes, set a little timer, and all you're going to do, you can put your hands over your heart. You focus your breath and your mind in your chest, thinking of your heart as a little lung. I always tell folks to think of it like a little balloon. Your heart is swelling when you breathe in and undulating down as you breathe out, and it's your heart. The heart's doing all the breathing. So this is your image. And then once you feel you got that, then all you do is, as you're breathing in, breathing out, generate feelings of love.
Oh,
how much you love Lourdes. Or if you, let's say, like this lady, she has a little baby.
So stupid.
This lady has a little baby. So the tragedies all around protecting her baby. So I have her imagine her little baby, how much she loves the baby. And all you're doing, the feeling is a frequency. The two highest frequencies are gratitude and love. So anything, any object, person, place, or thing that will allow you to generate those feelings, that's all you do for 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, you will open up and harmonize your brain in the cranium with your heart and your heart rate variability rhythm. Now, there is a neurologic brain in the heart. It's the king, not this guy. The brain in the heart was discovered a few years ago. It's made of 40,000 neurons, and when the heart math, when you do that, what they found is it synchronizes the two, and that gives you, well, first of all, the number one thing is you're made of 50 trillion cells. Every single cell by the end of the 5 minutes is all humming at the same frequency.
Hmm.
All of your central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, both sympathetic, parasympathetic, are entrained. Cortisol will drop 45%, 45%. DHEA goes up 45%, and it is sustained for 4 to 6 hours. So you did 5 minutes investment, then you take your pad and paper and jot down your to-do list.
Got it.
Now you head into the day. And what you will be heading into the day, number one, your whole body is at a frequency of love or gratitude, which means that's organizing your surround, your the rest of the family. When you go to the office, that's influencing everything for you. Your brain, because the brain is synchronized here, you'll have greater clarity. You'll also have access to your intuition, which you should always trust because it's higher wisdom. And all the way around, you're in a vastly superior position, and you will have activated the remarkable epigenetic effect so that you're for the next 4 to 6 hours, every single cell that is born in that energy field is born in a field of love, which means the membrane is healthier and stronger. All of the gene expression is at its maximum. You're doing anti-aging. I mean, in every way, you're in a superior position. Then you go into your day.
Got it.
I love that.
And I think that's really important to talk about that now, right before the new year, because this is a practice, like you had said, especially at the front of the year. Bring the love in, get yourself to that higher vibration right at the beginning of your year, and it's going to make a difference
from
from that point
forward, because you're starting your day that way, and that's really one of the best start is to have. Yeah, I love that.
You know, you remember Red Skelton?
Sure, yeah.
Red Skelton. He was an amazing man, and he would always come out on the stage and he'd say, let's see what it was. It says, "I feel good. I feel great," you know. And now to give you an idea how strong that man was, because Lourdes is a professional actress in that. I knew a man, a dear friend of mine that was a musician, and he knew Red Skelton. And Red Skelton, I think it was his son or his daughter. He was just about to go on stage for his live show, and someone came up with the news that his son had committed suicide.
Oh.
Wow.
And right just before he's going to go on the stage, and he got that news. Now, Red Skelton, folks, if you never heard of him, he was one of the most famous comedians that ever lived and loved by millions of people. And he's got his audience out there, and that man put a smile on his face with his heart in tears. And he said, the show must go on. And he went on that stage, and nobody ever knew for 1 microsecond that he was sad or had heard anything. Okay. So what you do is, when you wake up in the morning, you want to lift yourself up into the day. Rise to the challenge of another great day. Lift your energy. You got to do that to come into the new year, because in the new year, you're embedded in an energy field that extends around the entire globe, that all wants to be happy and have a new year. So you conjoin yourself into that energy field. How do you do it? Just by intention. Everything goes by intention. So that means consciously, you consciously choose to join into that energy field.
Yeah.
And I assure you, you'll be there. And if you're like me and you have a relationship or a belief in the divine, call them. Talk to
I
them
was
and
just going to
say,
say there's a parallel here because this is how you say to call the divine as well, to create the intention, to bring the divine into your life. So I'm just seeing the parallel between the two.
Now, and a quick
yeah,
question for, so once you write what you want for the new year, and now the new year's here, and you're doing all these right things, you're getting up in the morning, you're starting your first, 30 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, whatever, but towards that, and like you said, focusing on your heart and breathing and feeling that love. Would you think that someone should each day look over their long term of what they wanted to do and accomplish for that year? Like a reminder? Is that something one should do, or it should just be you wrote it and put it aside?
Good question.
that's a very good question, and I can speak from my own experience. I usually spend like a whole week, and I do what I'm describing to you guys. And then what would happen is it'd go on a shelf, and I didn't review it. It's a mistake. It is good. That's why a lot of the coaches they actually will make a vision board that they can see. And you know what happened with me, and that probably happened with most of us. We get busy, eh? So when you get busy, you just don't get to look at it because there's so many damn things in when you look at personal development, and they say, so write this down, do this meditation, make it, and like how many hours are there in the day? And some people are good at time management or event management, and others aren't. Now, and I've always been a guy like a tortoise. I'm real good at one thing at one time, and I'm horrible at anything else. I gotta be one thing. Well, when you're trying to build your whole life or become a famous doctor and do social media and all these things, there's a lot of things, right? So how do you do it all? So what I would do, Lourdes, with the long-term goal, I would review it once a week, make it realistic. Do always never miss your morning routine.
Nice.
Just don't. That's
important.
That's your life, folks. So you do that. You make everything now. Review it once a week, and I'm saying that to myself, so that you have that fresh. Now, in terms of moving through the year, remember something. It's like the guy says, "How do you eat a whole elephant? One bite at a time." Or the old saying from Lao Tzu, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." It's actually very true. Now, Eckhart Tolle one time in his book, I think it was in The Power of Now, I'm pretty sure he had it written there. What you can do is, have you ever driven a car in a real thick fog? I mean, a real fog, heavy one. Okay, you know how you have to put the low beams down?
You do.
Yes.
And the only thing you can see in the car is directly, especially if it's nighttime, is this little spot of the road directly in front of the car. So life is very much like that. So what you do, you're in the car, and so this is your day, and your consciousness, your conscious awareness is the light, and the car is your feet. So you have your goal or your task, and you do that and focus on that consciously. You complete it. Whenever you complete something, acknowledge yourself. Give yourself if it's like a reward, even if it's just a smile to yourself. I did that. I got that done. And that you don't look at what you don't get done. Look at what you do get done. Don't look at what you didn't get done.
That's interesting because I think a lot of people will overlook the small accomplishments. A lot of people will overlook the small victories because it's not the big picture. And I think that's a powerful way of looking at it.
But I love what you just said. Don't look at what you didn't get done. Look at what you did get done. And most people look at they don't focus on I got this done. They're like, I didn't do this. I did it, but I didn't do this.
Well, that we're indoctrinated that from children on. I mean, that's how school operates. I mean, you didn't do this.
Right.
You didn't do this.
Yes.
That's why they failed me at the age of 6, and my whole family abandoned me emotionally for the rest of my life because
Hmm.
of that kind of programming. That is, remember I taught you guys, all the universe is going to say is okay.
Okay.
So when you look at what you didn't get done, okay, and it doesn't get done, and then you look at it and then it doesn't get done, and you look at that and you say, and you know, I was thinking of Eckhart, uh, Jim Rohn. He says he calls it the pessimist. He says, and he's got a funny voice. If you ever listen to this guy,
I have.
he's all over Instagram, and he's standing at the podium and he says, the pessimist looks out the window. He doesn't see the blue sky. He sees the dirt on the corner of the
Sure.
window. You know? Or he says, the pessimist, he finds 5 things that are wrong and he's happy about it.
It's
But the
funny, Dr.
universe,
Grant. That's really profound because
That's so
we
true.
have literally, Lourdes and I have literally had conversations about people that we know that we say, in order for them to feel right, they have to feel wrong about, wrong about their situation. And it's
Like a
a
complaint,
habitual,
like a
yes.
complaint. Instead of going, this is what's right about my life. This is what's great about the day. They're like, and this complaint and that complaint and this, and just complain, complain, complain. And then they don't realize that all they created was more things to complain about for today and
Well,
tomorrow.
what does the universe say? Okay.
Okay, yeah.
that's right. It's virtually true. Now, I had a realization about 30 years ago, and it took me all the way till I got to Thailand to actualize it. Uh, the amount of energy. I'm a trained martial artist. Now, if you talk to, I train with like the military folks. I'm not like a guy that wears pajamas and hits watermelons. I'm a real martial artist. So I train for lethal engagement of mass. If I have an enemy, I blow his head off. If I don't blow his head off, he's going to blow my head off. So it's the real deal. So what you do is when you're learning tactical life, you're always looking for danger, and you're looking for the possibility of like when they go into a parking lot, you can always tell a tactically trained man, he will back into the parking space. Why? So if something happens, he can just get in and leave.
Hmm.
It's tactical. When I walk into a bar, I always go. Everyone that's a real fighter, they go to the back of the room. They got their back to the wall so they can see the entire bar. Nobody can approach without them knowing it. That's all tactical. So the universe keeps saying, okay. So you're looking for, like, what does a maid do? A maid is trained to look for dirt. So when I bought, so Oi, my beautiful girl Oi, she, do you guys know someone like this? I buy my furniture, right? I got these beautiful teak wood chairs, and they have like carvings in the wood, because I like
Okay.
stuff that's ornate. And what does Oi say? She just catches a lot of dust. It's going to be a lot of dust. Or she loves trees, but what does she see? The leaves. You got the leaves. It makes a mess because you got to rake the leaf. I never in my life look at or give a damn about how many leaves. I love the tree.
Yeah.
When I get a chandelier, I'm not thinking about how hard it is to clean it. So what I realized 30 years ago, actually, to notice what is beautiful or notice what is ugly takes exactly the same amount of energy.
Huh.
Yep.
There's no difference. There's only a difference in your result.
Right.
So what I did was I changed. That's why you develop wealth consciousness. It's imperative that you develop wealth consciousness. If you don't, you will not have wealth. Period.
Hmm.
I don't care if you're got 50 PhDs. It doesn't make any difference. So what is wealth conscious? You just have to be constantly aware of and feeling grateful for everything. It's abundance. See, that's what you see. You open up the fridge and you see what's there. You don't see what's not there.
Right.
You look at what you have, not what your bills are. And whenever you pay a bill, be so happy, I got that paid. I took care of that. And what happens is remember, the universe functions on frequency, folks. All it is resonance. It's just resonance. Everything is just resonance. So if your vibe is a 10, you're going to live in a world that vibes at 10. If you vibe at 3, you're going to live in a world that vibes at 3.
Absolutely.
That's it. So you just change what you look at, and you can you don't need me to do that for you. You can do that. All you got to do is start noticing the positive and what you have, and not or look at what you did do. Like when I go to bed at night, compared to some of my friends, if you compare, which you shouldn't do, don't do.
Don't do that.
If I compare myself to my friend, I look like the laziest, useless man in the world compared to some of them. But when I go to bed at night, I always feel fantastic because I tell myself I did that and I did that. I got that done. I enjoyed a nice dinner. I had a couple of beers and a cigar.
You're good.
Bada bing, bada boom, and then I go to bed.
Now that's interesting because maybe that's the resolution that people need to adopt is to see look at what's there.
I did that.
I did that, and that's such a simple resolution for people to adopt. And that I imagine they can keep that resolution.
Well, but not just that. Simple is what makes it so easy.
Yes.
To be able to do it, and if you get so complicated, it's because your mind is everywhere. But I did that, and I'm going to adopt that because I get wrapped in, I got to get all these things done instead of looking at what I did get done. And so that's from now on, from starting today onward, that's what I'm going to do.
Now, Dr. Grant, you said that in the last episode, you had said that you had talked a little bit about resolutions. And so I think we should kind of revisit that. But you said it's cognitive dissonance, I'm not saying it right. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah. If you're not following through on those resolutions, and that's something that you help people with what you do.
Yes. If you make goals, folks, and then you find that they just disappear, or they just drift off, or you try very hard. Let's say like me, for over 20 years, I went to all those big seminars with Tony Robbins, and it's all great stuff. And I get all fired up. That's what they do there, eh? One of his tactics is he gets you all fired up, but it just dies on the vine because cognitive dissonance just stops it. Cognitive dissonance just means there's a program in the subconscious which has all the power because it runs 95% of your day. 95% of your reality is nothing but subconscious. That's a neurologic fact. Now, if there's a negative in there that disagrees with your goal, you will never get the goal. So you can see me and I'll remove that. I can find it and I can remove it. And if I say it's removed, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. That's what I do. That's called, it's a quantum technology. It uses frequencies. I remove that. And once it's removed, then the subconscious will endorse the frontal cortex's idea, or at least it won't oppose it. And then I can teach you brain reprogramming, and you can insert any kind and automate any kind of behavior you want.
Obviously, we're talking about the sessions that you do. That's why you're the Lourdes and Chris Show in-house quantum doctor, doctor of the quantum field. Sorry, I'm not saying it right. But for people to get a hold of you, they go to depthhealing.org.
That's right. And I got a lot of good info on there, folks. My admin, Johnny, he works really hard. He's got a lot. We put beautiful stuff up there all the time. And if you look, if you go into the section where I got some writings on what a morphic field is and how all those things work. Because my specialty is I can do collectives of huge groups of people all at the same time. That's my real specialty. And then I do my privates. But read some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think you'll find it pretty interesting.
No, it is interesting. And then you also have a weekly show on Instagram every Wednesday night that people can kind of tap into as well.
That's right. It's live, folks, and you can ask me any question you want. If you look for the Lourdes, I have a question. There's something on my screen right now that looks like someone's trying to call me. Is that I'm going to decline?
We don't see it.
You don't see good. Okay, that's good. So on that show, it's a live show. It's on Instagram, and it's at a nice time in the evening, Wednesday night for you guys. It's my morning, and I talk about various themes, and you can ask me any kind of question you want, and I'll take care of it for you.
Nice.
Now, Dr. Grant, what you did this episode, I don't know if you realize you did it or not. Sometimes when I'm dealing with people, I for whatever reason, an animal will stick in my head with them now. For example, Paul Barachero, I think of bears when I talk to Paul Barachero now because
that's
the way I can get his name. But now you're just a tortoise to me, Dr. Grant. You're just Dr. Grant the tortoise. So you've done that for me now. I associate tortoises with Dr. Grant now.
Okay, I love tortoises. That when I lived with Tammy in Georgia, there was tortoises that live in the forest. They were there all the time. Very beautiful.
Well,
lovely.
And then they're known to be wise. A lot of cultures acknowledge that they're wise because they have and that matches with what I know about you to be wise, and the longevity and the long life, and that's all part of it. I can't help it. Now Dr. Grant equals tortoise in my mind.
Okay.
I love
it. There's one thing the divine signaled me to tell you, so I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah.
Everybody, especially in America, life is very complicated and very busy. Now the powers that be designed it that way, folks. So they're always, it's like dangling a carrot in front of your face, and they just want you to work real hard thinking you can get the carrot. And it's very carefully designed so that you can't get the carrot. Now remember something. The purpose of life is to live. Okay? So what does that mean? It doesn't mean doing. Do. Have you ever seen someone dying in a bed?
Sadly,
okay?
Yes.
Now, they're dying. They know they're dying. And they're just waiting for whatever's going to happen, right? And they've got nowhere to go. So every breath they take is important to them. Anyone that comes to visit them, that's very important to them because they're generally scared to death. And they know their life force is going to disappear. Now, that's life at its very basic. Sadhguru says, if you ever wonder what real importance is, go like that.
Okay.
Make yourself so you cannot breathe. You'll find out what's important in a big hurry. So enjoy your life. Eh? Like if you're having a martini, I always remember one of my greatest teachers, Professor Raymond Daly at University of Wynn. We were in a bar and I was talking about all kinds of stuff. I was a young buck. And he says, Grant, he says, this is life right here. And he holds up his glass of martini. He used to drink dry martini. He said, if I can't sit here with you right now and enjoy this martini, I can't do anything. And that's the truth.
Yeah, I love that.
My genius of geniuses is Gene Hinman. One of the greatest men. And we'd sit down and we'd have a glass of scotch on the porch at my house where I live with Tammy, and he'd have a cigar. And he used to sit there and he'd say, and he's a multi-millionaire. We have a little wooden porch, and he'd say, it doesn't get better than this. Now, the reason it sticks with me is, let's say we could make the porch fancier, and maybe we could be sitting on chairs made out of gold with satin, but the cigar is still the cigar. Scotch is still a Scotch. I'm still Grant Crewley, and he's still Gene, and we're enjoying. You know, I was listening to what's the most richest investor in the world?
Oh,
Charlie
Warren
Munger and Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett, you know, you ever seen a picture of his office? He just enjoys his life like a regular Joe
Hmm.
because he wants to enjoy his life. Don't when you're going into Christmas now and you're going to go into the new year, try to connect with your life, eh?
Hmm.
If you take your time, you know, I used to gulp my coffee, and then I gulp my beer, and I gulp, and I force myself to sit down. I make my I love good coffee. Yeah, I only drink 1 cup a day. It's triple strong,
Hmm.
and I sit outside. I go outside and I set up my little spot under the stars, and I enjoy that cup of coffee. And I don't let nothing interfere with me enjoying my cup of coffee
Hmm.
because I
So
want
for
to be
you,
aware.
you know, it
You got to
makes,
be aware.
I love that. And I love that you say that because it just reminded me like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had that moment with you. Remember, I was
Yes.
in the car and I was, I'm human. I go through frustrations. And my frustration was so simple. I just want to be able to enjoy my moments without interruption. If I am washing the dishes, I just want to wash the dishes without all the chaos or the conversations. Just let me be in the moment of this is what I'm doing.
That's right.
You know, it was like, because I need that because since my life is so busy and I get very overwhelmed with many people that reach out that need me to help guide them because I understand they're scared, they need help or whatever it is, or you know, just in a daily life of me helping my mom or whatever it is. But when I'm trying to take those moments, if I'm just brushing my teeth, I don't want someone knocking at the door, standing right there having a conversation with me while I'm brushing my teeth. I just want to brush my teeth. I want to be in the and I must have. I think you must have gone nuts because I might have like said this really frustrated, just saying it out loud, yelling my lungs out in the car, probably for a good hour. I just want to be able that if I'm brushing my teeth, that's all I'm doing is me and my toothbrush brushing these teeth, and that's the moment I'm in. If I'm making my, you know, my natural hot cocoa that I make or hot chocolate, I make it all from scratch. If I'm doing that, I just want to be in the moment of my almond milk and putting in the cinnamon and those kind of things. That moment, I don't need it to be interrupted from every corner of a conversation. It's like, how about let my morning, my moment just be my moment? And I think really that's what people need to do is whatever they are doing in that moment, just be in that moment if that's what you're doing. Because we need that.
Yeah.
I think Lotus is trying to find her inner tortoise.
No,
You
it's just
know,
I just want to have that one moment that whatever I'm doing, I'm just doing that. And I don't need any interruption
you have
because I
so
need
you
that. I think we all do.
well, yeah. That's actually life. What life actually is, and uh, the way the mind. We are not our mind, folks. Mind that's another subject, but we're like a prisoner of that. And what Lord Des is describing, like all of the great traditions, Zen, Vipassana, whatever you want to look at, everything is always the same. That is the fundamental basis of life. Now, in order to do it in life now, you have to try to design that. That's what I'm saying. Before New Year's, design that. Try to figure out and structure. If you need alone time, it's nice to have some alone time. And then whatever you're doing, one of the tricks of consciousness, when you let's say you're washing the dishes, and you can even say out loud to yourself, "I'm here washing the dishes now." Like I say this in the car, I'll be driving the car and a story comes into my mind. And I become aware that my mind is running a story about something. And then I all I do is look at it and say, I see you, but I'm driving the car now.
Mm.
This is what I'm doing. And then the mind will a story will come. If you become aware of the story, the moment you become aware of it, which means your consciousness is getting higher, all you have to do to shut it off is say, I see you, but I'm busy right now. And it'll shut off. Then it'll try to come back and you just see it, look at it, it'll shut off. That's how
So do you say that that's something one can do also in the moment of you're trying to be in your moment and someone comes along, you know, would you suggest, because you want to stay in that moment of having your moment, right? Your whatever those moments are, and say, we can talk in, you know, in about 20, 30 minutes. Right now I'm in my moment of doing whatever I'm doing.
Yes, if that's absolutely perfect as long as it's socially appropriate, you know, that you can do that, and they understand that. Like if this is a loving relationship, partner relationship, the two of you, it's nice to just agree on that, so that there's no there you don't you don't engender a misunderstanding or a conflict. That's all. And then
Right.
like when I talk
Yeah.
to Oi will say, later, darling, I'm doing this right now, and I'm fine, you know, no problem. And then I vice versa. It's and then the other thing is when you are engaged in a relationship of any kind, this is where I still fail miserably, but we have to try, is try to actively listen to them
Mm.
and give them space. Space means they're not distance. It means, by space I mean you give them your mental attention to be and say, and the freedom, and you're there with them. So
Right.
now that's the present moment. And what'll happen is that lets you really connect to them, and they will feel that you're really there with them. And then everything flowers. What I do with I was working on healing a mother-son relationship the other day. And I got to do the two of them at the same time, as a grown man and his mom. And after I cleared all of the pain between the two of them, I had them stand up and hug each other.
Mm.
Now, how do you hug? Here's the trick to hugging. When you go to hug someone you love, I don't want you to let go. Keep holding them, and you'll feel there'll be a time, like initially they'll hug, and most people hug and release.
Mm-hmm.
Keep holding them until you will come to, there will be a qualitative shift where your heart and their heart, you both recognize you're not letting go, and you're really connecting.
Mm.
Try it. It'll blow your mind.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
It's
Yeah.
very lovely. It's very, very lovely. When I shake hands with someone, I always cup their hand. If it's someone I care about,
Mm-hmm.
I always cup their hand with my other hand, and I look right in their eyes. And you make a real connection, because our palm is connected to our heart and our deep mind.
Mm.
That's why when you want to understand something, you always hold it with the whole hand, not your fingertips, because it's got to connect here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that.
Makes sense?
We actually do that sometimes, just joking around. Like we'll take turns. Like I'll hug him, and then when he's done, I'm still holding on. And then he'll do that to me. I'm ready, and he's still holding on. And I'm like, all right, let it go. But it's funny. I mean, we mess around like that all the time.
It's a beautiful way to impart love to one another.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Very beautiful way. If someone's far away from you and you want to let them know you love them, you can send your love in through the field, and all you have to do is I like to take a picture of them so I can see their eyes, and then I generate love in my heart, and then you just blow it to them, or I put your right hand on the photo or on the screen. Or if you don't have anything like that, if I just want to send love to Oi and she's in Norway, I just bring up my image of Oi, and then as I breathe out, I image my love to her. They receive it. Do it 11 times, 11 times in a row, and they will receive that. Even they don't know, it doesn't matter. It's not conscious. They will receive that.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Dr. Grant is always amazing when you come on the show because I'm ever so smart whenever we're done having a conversation, and it's just like when we're doing sessions with you, I feel amazingly lighter, and even through conversations, you make me feel lighter at the end of these conversations. So it's just you got to get for it.
Definitely, and thank you so much for being on the show. We really enjoy being on our show. I mean, and I know our audience does too. They get to learn more and more stuff about how they can get things better in their life, especially because everything affects us. And this is like really the best way to start our new year. So thank you so much, and can't wait to see you again on our show.
Thank you, guys. I love you both. I hope you have the greatest Christmas
We love
ever.
you.
Love you too.
And New Year's. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, folks. Bye-bye.
So much was said tonight that I'm going to personally implement.
Yes, me
like
too.
right now.
Oh, I immediately.
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking a notepad, I'm writing these things down,
Yeah.
I'm getting focused, I'm getting this stuff done, and I'm going to make sure that I look at it at least once a week, like you said.
No, I think just by following these simple guidelines that he laid out in tonight's episode, I think 2023 is bound to be our greatest year yet.
Yeah, because I think if we are on a daily basis, the first thing we do in the morning is really concentrate on our heart and the breath. And just being is like, that is the greatest thing to show love and bring that into your life.
And see, that's why we love Dr. Grant. That's why we love to have him on the show, because he always gives us this stuff and we go, okay. Yeah. And it just makes things better for us. It really does.
I totally agree.
Including, if you needed to have a session with Dr. Grant, you can reach out to him on depthhealing.org. I highly recommend it. We've done it, and honestly,
times.
you feel light as air. We've had some close friends do it as well. That we've told them about it. They did it, and they had seen some improvements in a lot of areas in their life as well. And they know it's 100% because of that session.
Yes, and there is. I mean, we are an energy, and if you think of God and we in the creation of all, it is a frequency. It is an energy, and it's, you know, when you believe and you have faith in something. If you can move mountains, then how is it that we couldn't also manipulate how things are great in our life by using the frequency like he does?
Right, exactly right. Yeah. And if you haven't already heard from the front of the show, were you not listening? Go to the LourdesandChrisShow.com, and you can see all the former episodes of Dr. Grant, as well as all of our friends that we've had on the show throughout this entire year. Honestly, this show has made this year amazing for us, and we'd be remiss to not kind of reminisce on the idea that the Lourdes and Chris Show, this is our first year. It has been amazing. We absolutely love you for joining us every week. And
make sure that you guys go on to the LourdesandChrisShow.com and also share it with others.
Right.
And check out the stuff that we have on there that we love to use and start our day with. Check it out. I'm telling you, it's great stuff.
And guys, just like, follow, and share. It helps out so much more than you might think it does. Helps us, but on a very, very much bigger level, you don't know who needs to know that thing that you know. And that's why we do this show every week, and we're going to continue into 2023 to do it that way. So we just want to wish you all a Happy New Year. If you were to follow us on social media, you would have seen that we've already said Happy New Year.
Yep. So make sure that you guys check out our LourdesandChrisShow.com. Browse through just browse. There's different things you can check out, videos and on. Also, have a blessed, amazing, extraordinary New Year.
Yes, 100%. And we absolutely love you. And we'll see you again in a week, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when the Lourdes and Chris Show has got a new episode for you.